success means when you have made a tangible difference in the lives of people that you've touched, made them put a smile on their face. How you address those challenges and how you grow from those challenges is what makes you a better version of yourself. So even if you made a difference in one person's life, you as if you help the whole. I'm a soul that needs to be nourished, just as the way you nourish your body, your mind, your soul needs nourishment at the same time. And my spiritual teacher will say that if you're spiritually healthy, you're mentally and physically healthy as well. So if you're, and when you're on that higher frequency, we talked about manifestation, and you can manifest whatever you want, and wherever you put your attention, that's where your energy goes. So always put your energy in. I ran for New York City elections for New York City Council, and I was the first South Asian female to run. If you have that focus, that pinpoint eye focus, that's it. Keep an eye on the ball.
Hi, I'm Kaavya Ramani, a Bollywood actress, best-selling author, and a success mentor based in New York. Manifest WishCraft Conversations is a podcast series on manifestation where I explore the true meaning of success through conversations with inspiring people from around the world. This podcast is also available on Spotify. If this resonates with you, please subscribe, like, and share this episode with 3 more people. It might change their life and yours too. To learn more and be a part of this growing global movement, please search Manifest with Kaavya Ramani. This is my website. Enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome to the Manifest WishCraft Conversations. Today we have an extraordinary guest, Dr. Renee Mehrra. She is a broadcast journalist, entrepreneur, health advocate, known for her signature show, The Renee Mehrra Report. She has led media initiatives, served on the New York City's Human Rights Commission, worked tirelessly to empower immigrants and minority communities. An ambassador of yoga, Ayurveda, and meditation, Dr. Mehrra blends conscious living, public health, and manifestation to create real impact. Her work inspires success, wellness, and purpose in every facet of life, making her insights invaluable for anyone striving to lead and impact. Thank you so much for being here today, Dr. Renee.
Well, thank you for the wonderful introduction.
I'm loving it having you here on my podcast.
Thank
How
you.
are you doing today?
Good. It's great weather today. Can't go wrong.
Yeah. And let me tell you all, she lives in Chicago, right?
Right now, yes, at this point.
Yes, right now. Currently, she is talking from Chicago and I'm talking from New York. We're both in different time zones, but yeah, here we are. And so, just to start off with the questionnaire section, I want to ask you, how did you start your journey? As I always ask everyone, I want to know about your journey a little. How this kicked off, like start off.
I think I was a child artist at the age of 5, and that was my first stage performance. I didn't want to get on the stage, and I remember my dad getting upset with me because I just freaked out the last minute. I just walked out of the stage, and my dad's running after me. So is my mom, and I sang my first song at age 5 on the stage, and then there was no looking back. And at 10, I started doing a lot of kid shows, kid programs, and that was for BBC. And my dad thought it was just a little, like a passion that will go away after some time, but it just continued. And at 15, I was doing full-fledged television interviews. And so in my dad's mental template, there was no such thing as broadcast journalism. It was stereotypical jobs like teacher, IT, doctor, and broadcaster. Absolutely no. But thank God my mom and my grandmom were always on my side, and they wanted me to follow my heart. I felt was my calling. So I think my dad finally agreed, but he didn't see me grow into my career because I lost him when I was very young. And Down the road, my dad always wanted me to be a doctor. So down the road, I have a very eclectic academic background, bachelor's in broadcast journalism and American studies, master's in public relations, political management, and then communications, and then a double master's in public health. And then I did my doctorate in public health because I thought our healthcare system in the country needed some rethinking, and I wanted to make a tangible difference in the way I could. So through my broadcasts and my podcasts, I do talk a lot about public health awareness on different chronic conditions like diabetes or cardiovascular disease or obesity or mental health, and creating a platform for a lot of minority communities, vulnerable communities, at-risk communities to understand the importance of early intervention and disease prevention through a very more of an integrated healthcare approach. So it's more of an interdisciplinary thinking,
Mhm.
combining modern science with holistic healthcare modalities of treatment to treat a person as an organic whole, and making people aware that these a lot of these chronic conditions can be prevented early on if we have proper lifestyle modification and a good positive thinking.
Wow. Your journey has been like a very interesting one, and like integrating public health and consciousness and everything all together along with the thing that you wanted to do actually. And
Yeah.
I just love to see how passionate of a person you yourself are. Would you like to give us a definition of success in your words? What do you think it is?
My mom has been a big inspiration in that area, who kept me very balanced and grounded, because I became like a celebrity broadcaster. And, you start jumping in, thinking all about, hey, I'm the best, talking to a 15-year-old, you're 15. So, you know what I'm saying? So you get a little cocky and you say, I know everything. That's the time you start thinking you know everything. But I think as you grow older, and my mom, as I said, was my biggest anchor and always will be. I lost her just a couple of years ago. But she inspired me. She made me understand, gave me the right understanding what true success is. And that is if you're really happy inside, and you don't need anybody's validation or approval for that. You Because inside you, your inner core is already happy, is already full of joy and peace. So that success means when you have made a tangible difference in the lives of people that you've touched, made them put a smile on their face, made them feel more empowered through my talk shows or through my podcasts, or words of encouragement through public speaking, and making a pivot towards the inner journey that would bring you that permanent peace. So that is what success is: making a difference in people's lives and having that fulfilling experience that makes you peaceful and joyful through that inward journey.
Yes, yes. Spreading and giving. As I was also talking to uh, another guest of mine, everyone who comes and we discuss, and the same conclusion that we get is always that giving and spreading peace, spreading happiness is and has to be the ultimate goal of our success. And then that is how we be successful. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And I love the way you are so passionate about giving and spreading to others and letting them be happy. And so like your journey has been a very successful one, but there are always ups and downs, right? Has there been any setback or like a challenge that you were able to overcome? Could you explain about how your mindset was at the time of the setback?
The challenges that I went through and I overcame them. All of us go through challenges. That's what life is all about. They come in the package of joy and happiness with a bundle of lot of challenges and gridlocks and glitches in life. And you have to accept them. Well, while you're growing up, it's hard because you're over striving. I've always been an overachiever. If I got a B plus, why didn't I get an A or an A plus? That's me. It's not that great because you keep on overstriving. It's stressful. It gets you more tensed up. But that was my growing years. I was very much as an overachiever, and there are challenges at that time. Could be in your school, in your studies, in your relationships, in your workplace. Challenges are always there. How you address those challenges and how you grow from those challenges is what makes you a better version of yourself. So, challenges, I think, are opportunities for a person to grow and evolve and move on to a higher frequency because you learn so much from those challenges. What lessons did I learn from this challenge? But I think the biggest challenge that came in my life, the darkest moment, was when I lost my mom. As I said, she was my universe, and to lose her was losing half my soul. And being a journalist, being a public speaker, journaling was not going to happen with me making any difference in my life. So I started writing a lot of poetry. So I wrote 12 poems in 2 months, I think, after her passing. And it was very therapeutic. I got more into Indian classical music. I was always into Western classical music, but I got into Indian classical music. It was very therapeutic. It was like a balm to my soul. So there are ways how you address those dark moments in your life and how do you step up from there and you accept that reality that this too shall pass. Our scriptures tell us all the time, but I think it's there in our head. But when you process this and internalize it, and then you say, well, this is the way life is. So you take that challenge and make it grow into an opportunity for you to evolve. And I think meditation helped me so much. Taking that inward journey, pivoting towards that understanding that inner journey is going to help me through my dark moments and through all my life trajectory is going to help me with meditation. And it has been the biggest anchor in my life. And I always tell everyone who I meet, and I'm sharing this with you, take that inner journey if you want to really evolve and become a better version of yourself. And you find that light inside you that will help you to understand the true meaning and true purpose of life.
Yeah, and you mentioned a really great thing that taking that inward journey is the most important step because even when there are challenges, the way you overcome them depends on the way you approach it. If you think that you approach a challenge and then you're like, oh my god, why did someone do this to me, that's how you blame someone, right? And then if you try to be the hero of your own journey, and you try to solve your own problems and be the hero of your story, that's how you overcome those challenges. Thank you so much for giving us such a great point. And
And you know, my
meditation, of
spiritual
course.
teacher always tells me, be good, do good, be one. So this has always been my motto in my life. Just do good, be a better version of yourself. This is what life is all about. You know, if you understand that, that is also success. You know, being good,
Yeah,
doing good is success. And if you get that right understanding, you made a difference. And I always say, even if you made a difference in one person's life, you as if you helped the whole humanity. And our scriptures talk about it all the time. And it's just how you walk that path. And many times in this field, you know, you're in the entertainment industry, it's tough. It's so many challenges that come in, temptations, distractions, attractions, and they distract you from your inner peace. So you have to find that quiet inner space that you create that boundary that, okay, at this point, I'm going to just be by myself because I've created that sacred space in me. And I want to get into that space and balance myself, recalibrate myself, and rejuvenate myself daily. So, this is your daily inner spa that you need to address all the life challenges that that keep coming and all the ups and downs that happen.
Yeah, and the inner, as you said, even if you change someone else's life, that'll be the key to your success, because then you have this feeling of pure intention. And when you have this feeling, it's just easier to connect to the universe, to manifest, to meditate, to achieve success. And you talked about meditation, right? I want to ask you this question before we move towards the other parts. How was manifestation a part of your journey since coming through?
I come from a very spiritual background, so for me it was an easy segue into it. I was not forced into it. It just came with, like, yoga came into my life. Like, it's, I was brought up, brush your teeth, do your yoga. That's how I was brought up. So all this was like just part of my life. It was integrated in daily routine. So it was nothing major that, oh, I learned at this point in my life to meditate. I was always brought up in that environment. My mom being very spiritual, my grandmom being very spiritual, my maternal side, my grandparents very spiritual. Mom, as I said, was my anchor in my life, and whatever I am today is because of her teachings, her way of bringing me up, and I will be forever grateful to her for that. And of course, my spiritual teacher, because you learn to take that inner space as your own on a daily basis as a child, then it's easy for you to grow up like that. Of course, when you're growing up, it becomes very difficult. The pure pressure, what are you doing? Oh, I'm meditating. Are you kidding? That's not the way to go and grow up in an environment where, you're always out partying and drinking and whatever. So, or chilling out. And there's nothing wrong to chill out, there's nothing wrong to party, but there is time for everything. And yes, there was a lot of peer pressure and a lot of pressure in my profession on this, but I kept my stand on this. I decided this is what I want to do, and this is what keeps me connected to my center, to my inner core, and keeps my balance. Then I need to get this. So the more I was in my field doing interviews and public speaking and community education, this became as much a part of my life just to keep me in balance. So they were both together at the same time, and this I started as a kid.
Yeah, and I just connected this to one more thing. You talked about balance. It brought up big question in my mind that many people struggle to balance their professional dreams with their personal well-being. So, how did you do the balancing?
So you talk like impact of your profession and the recognition that you get in your profession, and at the same time you want to keep that. It's tough. You're juggling between two worlds. One is outside world, one is the inner world, and both worlds need your attention. So it cannot be exclusive. They both have to be together. So if you're talking about the outer world of your profession and your work, your friends and your near dear ones, and the inner world where you find that quiet peace, you have to find that time. And you just have to manage it. And the best time, I think, for doing meditation is early morning, so that you're done with it. And then in the night, just before you go to sleep, introspection and reflection of what have you done this whole day? Were were you able to help anyone? Did you do something meaningful? Is it substantial? Those things are very important. Yes. Oh, I did a great interview. Oh, I did this as a great speaking role. That's fine, and that's your profession. But what did you do to, strengthen nourish your soul and enrich your life? And that's what defines you. You're defined by that identity, not just as a public speaker or a broadcaster or a community educator. You're defined by how much faith you have, how much resilience you have, and how much spiritual growth you have. I think that's, for me, that is a true identity. And I want to be defined by that, not just by other outer labels. Because at the end of the day, I'm a soul that needs to be nourished, just as the way you nourish your body, your mind, Your soul needs nourishment at the same time. And my spiritual teacher will say that if you're spiritually healthy, you're mentally and physically healthy as well. So if you're spiritually growing and evolving and enriching your soul, then you're mentally and physically going to be, and emotionally and psychologically also be feeling more fulfilled and calm and peaceful. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Not everybody's going to look at it, but this is the way I have grown. And many times I've taken that higher road. And it's not easy because your friends say, hey, let's go and watch a film or let's go out. Yeah, it's fine but at times you say, well, stop. I want to do what I want to do, what makes me happy inside. So you make those sometimes tough decisions, especially in a career that you and I share, and it gets difficult and very challenging. But that's where your willpower, your inner resilience comes in, and your faith in your higher self that keeps you going. And that's what I've been doing all my life, and I want to continue doing that the rest of my life as well.
And I hope and I would willingly want you to do so your whole life because I love it. And every single person who watches you and admires you would love it. Love to have you do what you're doing in this career path. And we did talk about your inner self right now, just a moment ago, in the previous question. But now I want to ask you a little bit about your professional side, right? Because your achievements and awards and all these achievements that you've had in communities, in recognitions that you've had. Because, okay, there is a lot, but I just want to know something that is meaningful to you that has happened in, let's say, in the field of health or in the field of podcasts. Anything that is meaningful to you. Could you share that moment?
Any podcast that most of my podcasts are highlighting quality of life issues, socioeconomic issues, civic issues, making people more civically empowered. And also, I talk a lot about holistic healthcare approach as an Ayurveda wellness coach, or different modalities of treatment that are integrated with modern science. Those are my podcasts. And when people tell me, "Hey, I love this, and I learned a lot out of this," it's a good feeling because you say, "Okay, this is what I want. That's my goal. That people should be empowered and they should really get the best out of this podcast." So most of my podcasts, I mean, some could be very entertaining, could be on a film or it could be on music, and so it's very different. But the ones that really make a difference in people's lives, of course, that will bring me a lot of fulfillment. But there are a lot of podcasts in from the entertainment industry that I have done, and I feel really good, especially when I interviewed Asha Bhosleji, and not only once, three times, and how she gave me tips on, how I could be a good singer, what I should do for my voice. So those were great moments with her. A.R. Rahmanji, again, these are legendary musicians and artists from the entertainment industry that I really thought were very, very interesting to converse with them, and off screen as well as on screen. So there have been interviews with the governor of New York State, or the mayor of New York City. Those I think are good because they empower people, and some are that entertain people. So it's not just all about civic engagement and civic empowerment, but at the same time, give them some sort of an entertainment as well, and make them feel good about. So my podcasts are not like, I cannot be defined by just a few podcasts. It's all kind of issues that I think that pique my interest and my curiosity, then I put them in my podcast. And when people write comments, hey, I love this because of what you said or what that the guest said, it's a good feeling. It's a feel good feeling. And I'm sure that's how you feel because you have grown into this field as a child as well. You were known as small Bharti, so this has been for you from Mumbai, and straight now to New York. How do you feel about that?
It's always like an amazing feeling, right? Because the thing that I always wanted to do was something really integrated in the acting field. And when I was a really good person in this field, it does feel really, sometimes it is really overwhelming also, but then in a good way, right? Because you see a lot of things happening to you at the same time. There was sorry, I'm just making this about myself right now. Let's just continue with you because you're the star over here.
And
And
I don't know if I told you, but I'm also with Screen Actors Guild and American Federation of Radio TV Artists. So I did some roles in Barbara Streisand's movie Mirror Has Two Faces, and then yeah, and Law and Order as well. So those are some great moments. And at one time, I thought I just wanted to be an actor and a voiceover artist, but then broadcast became equally that important, and I was getting more out of the broadcast. And so I decided, let me move here, but I'm still in the union and I still feel good at times. But now with AI taking over voiceovers, it's just, I don't know where we're going to go with that. So I think many times the creativity gets lost with new technology, the new state of the art, everything that's happening. It's good, but at the same time, for artists, the creativity is kind of, you're confining it and letting AI take over everything. It's good in a way, but not everything. There are pros and cons to it. And many times I've heard, who gets the royalty? Let's say half of the music is done by you, and the other half is done by AI. So how do we decide on the royalty in this? So there are a lot of things with AI, the new technology that's merging, how it intersects with artists and creativity is another podcast by itself.
and you just talked about AI, and it just connected with me to the success part of it. And we talked about success, right? What do you think are the long-term habits that should be, integrated in ourselves in our daily lives to achieve the long-term success? Some wellness habits to achieve long-term success.
I think self care is very important. You should be taking ownership of your health. It's not just going to the doctor and say, "Hey, doctor, give me a pill. I want to get okay." We come from a popping pill culture. Just I got the symptom. Just give me a pill for headache. Just give me a pill for stomach ache. Just give me a pill for whatever is going on. But you're not looking at the root cause. So always, I think that you should take ownership of your health and have a good rapport with your healthcare provider, but at home you should have your daily routine. And in Ayurveda, we talk about dinacharya, that's daily routine. So getting up on time, sleeping on time, having quality sleep, eating on time, having the right thoughts when you're eating. So there should be that kind of a self-regulation in your life so that you're doing preventive care and at the same time you're trying to be often healthy. And I believe strongly on food as medicine. So sometimes whatever is tasting good may not be tasting or may not be good for your gut. So many times we eat a lot of foods that are delicious, but they may not be great for your gut. And that is something that you should look at. So food as medicine plays a very important role in Ayurveda and many holistic healthcare disciplines because you want to eat the right food, organic foods, and wholesome foods. Yes, there's an 80-20 rule in Ayurveda where 80% is what you should be eating the right, and 20% you can cheat around a little bit if you're tempted, like an ice cream or popcorn or whatever snack you like or whatever dessert that you want, chocolate. But that should be only like 20%, not all the time. So daily care, daily routine is very important. That also reinforced with meditation is it kind of combines everything together. And thinking positive, it's very, very important. So my motto in my podcast is stay healthy, stay positive. It's very important. I say that to myself. I say that to everybody around me. Positive thoughts, because thoughts are potent. So whatever you're thinking, that's what you're going to be talking about, and that's what you're going to be acting on. So if your thoughts are good thoughts, happy thoughts, positive thoughts, thoughts for other people also should be good thoughts. Never think bad about anybody. Just if you can't get along with that person or something happened, just detach yourself from there. And I always say that many times attachment is the cause of our suffering. So too much of attachment, try to stay away from that, and have good thoughts for everybody, good thoughts for yourself, good thoughts for everyone, and you see you moving into a higher frequency. And when you're on that higher frequency, we talked about manifestation, and you can manifest whatever you want. I mean, if you are, especially if you're thinking good for others and good for yourself. But many times with our limited intellect, limited thinking, we don't know what's good for us. So I always say, let the higher state of consciousness decide for you. The timeline that you want may not be the timeline that the creator wants. So you want something, you reach out for it, you pursue it, but then leave it as an offering to the creator and see what happens. Surrender. So I believe a lot in surrendering to the higher self and let thy will be done. Sweet is thy will, not sweet is my will, sweet is thy will. And let thy will, that will take over. And you find that you get into that quantum field. Neuroscience talks about it, spiritual traditions have always talked about it. And that is so unlimited and infinite that whatever you ask for, you might get in abundance, something even 10 times more, 20 times more than what you ask for. So always be careful what you're asking for. And I believe I do my bit, I do my effort 100%, and then just leave it as an offering to the creator. You take care of it. Whenever the time is right, it'll happen. And if it's not meant to be, it won't happen.
Yeah, and wow. First of all, the whole chain of thoughts that you just voiced out and the things that you said are like gold. And I'd like to highlight this to my audience that if you want to go back and rewind and watch this again, please do, because this is like the key information that you would want to have from this podcast right here and here. But also, I'd like to also, talk more about frequency that you talked about. And I also say in my podcast and in my real life in about the manifestation topic that frequencies are really important in life. Certain energy levels are important. But I'd like to know from you that how does being at a certain frequency level, a certain energy level, help us be effective and efficient in making decisions and productivity, and how does that help?
You see, you can't control time, but you can control your energy flow. So you're going with the flow, with a higher state. And wherever you put your attention, that's where your energy goes. So always put your energy in the right place so that you're not exhausted and drained out by petty, trivial matters. And so the energy should be for the right things and for the right cause and for people that you want. I always say good for everybody. If you're putting energy, negative energy on someone or on yourself, you're going to see that it's not going to help you in any way. You're going to feel exhausted, debilitated, not proper health outcomes for yourself or for anybody else. So let your energy grow in the right direction. Let the attention grow in a positive direction so that energy is aligned, so that alignment is there. If you're not aligned, you're never going to get your goals. So energy plays a very, very significant, it's a very significant, it's an asset, but you place it in a way that it's moving in the direction, in the higher state of consciousness, and let it flow. Let it flow. Don't let it be inhibited. Don't stop it, obstruct it. So it becomes a significant force at that time. So you don't want to make that significant force go in the wrong direction. That's so very important to let your energy flow in the right direction. Let your attention be in the right direction, whether you're talking to young adults, because many times we don't know where we're going, especially when you're in that age group, when you're young, you're alpha generation or Gen Z. They need that proper flow of energy in the right direction, have a meaningful life, know your purpose, know what you want in life. And actually, in the end, the purpose is to be connected to your higher self. So that is the ultimate, where you are connected with the creator. And that can happen through meditation, through your inward journey. I always keep bringing that. I underscore the importance of that, pivoting towards the inner journey, because that's what's going to make you understand how your energy should flow. That would make you understand your true purpose in life, what is meaningful, and what is the right understanding. Clarity comes with silence, not with the clutter and the noise in the world. And silence and quiet too will give you that deeper insight in life. So I always say, get that quiet time. You call it inversion or meditation or simran or bhajan, but all leads you to that inner journey, which will give you that greater understanding of who you truly should be and who you truly are.
Wow, amazing. But just okay, so this is a chain of questions that I'm just taking from the answers that you're giving right now. And I want to ask you that you said about the chain of thoughts and the right thoughts that a person should have for success. So, how can a person cultivate the awareness of good thoughts and of the exact energy to attract the right opportunities to succeed?
Every time you have a thought, pause and say, is this the right thought? I mean, is this thought going to lead me to make me a better person? And you know that, your inner core knows it. Your conscience will tell you. Your inner pilot will guide you on that. So a thought comes to you, and you right away know, this is not a good thought. I'm being very negative about myself or somebody else. So so you try to eliminate that thought. It's not easy. You try to move that thought away. Like, stop or delete, you know, you have cut and paste, you're not cutting and pasting, you're deleting it. Delete, putting in the trash and then throwing it out. Exactly how you would do in your laptop, your computer.
Mm-hmm.
Same way. And if you have a good thought, oh, this is potent, this is going to give me good energy out here. So you save that, and you paste it in your dashboard, in your mental dashboard, and you keep it. And that's how you keep on adding good thoughts. And your dashboard is going to light up. It's going to light up. And if you have negative thoughts, it's going to go all dark, so you got to go, if there's a virus in that, you got to throw it out, and you need a antivirus software. Same way, you need that for your brain as well. You need a proper downloading of good thoughts. And once you have done that, you will see that your dashboard, your mental dashboard lights up. And if it's bad, it's the virus. Oh, virus came in, scan it for virus, you throw it out. That's exactly what you're doing. And that's a great analogy for technology based people, because we're all living in that technology. We're using our
Yeah.
mobile devices and internet. So when you're talking of downloading and cutting and pasting and deleting, all these terms are come naturally to everyone.
And do you believe, or do you think, and how can the right intention and visualization can tangibly influence our success and the rate to which we succeed and easily manifest in life? And also, can all these great intentions tangibly influence our health physically?
Absolutely. If you have good intentions, because as I said, it starts with your intent, the thought. You may have good intent for someone or good intent for whatever you are looking for. And sometimes it may not materialize into a positive outcome, but your intent was good. So many times, good intentions lead to good actions and lead to good rewards. But again, as I said, the reward is not in our hands. So, good intention can lead to good outcomes. But sometimes good intentions may just remain stagnant and they may not go any further. But that doesn't mean that you didn't have that good intent for that someone. And I also sometimes feel you should express that. If you had good intention for someone, or for people, you should let them know, this is what my intent is. So people know that you're looking and you're striving for a good action which will lead to good outcome. Let people know about that, because many times, your good intentions may be misinterpreted. People might not realize that you have good intentions for them. They may not be, I mean, we're not like mind readers, and they may not realize that your good intention misfired and it went the wrong way. But so it's many times better to express that, hey, this was my intention for you or for all of you, and sorry it did not work out. So this way you have clarified your position, and people respect you more for that.
Yeah, and I just I just really think that good intentions also help us emit the right vibrations at
Of
which we
course,
can manifest, right? And
absolutely.
yeah, and
Absolutely. You got it right. You just nailed it. Good intentions, good energy patterns, good flow, manifestation of good outcomes. But again, a manifestation of something that can happen that can be good for everybody. And you're manifesting something powerful, something good for yourself and for others. And, and that's how the energy flows, and you're aligned with that energy of the universe.
now that we are talking about manifestation, many a times I get these myths from people that, manifestation is just like thinking and it'll happen to you. But then when they try to do it, it does not happen. And they complain to me that, oh, it's just fake and it's nothing. But then I tell them that it is not just thinking, it is actually doing the action along with manifestation. What are your thoughts on it? How is it different from just thinking?
No, thinking is the beginning. That's step one. So that's your start. That's the journey, starting out on that good thinking, the good intention. Now follow it through. You walk that path. It's not just thinking. Thinking has to be translated into something more. So you're walking that thinking, and then you're looking at what can happen at this point. It's not just, okay, I'm going to think. I want to be, many times people want wealth or abundance or whatever they want from the material side, or good health. And you say, okay, I want good health. Okay, what are you doing about it? Or you want abundance. What are you doing about it? You're just going to think. Things are not going to just come with a magic wand and, oops, everything is here. That's not going to happen. So there's no genie out here, okay, what do you want, Renee? I can get it for you. That's not going to happen. So you're going to work for it. So you want to strive for what you're thinking. If you're thinking with that good intention, I want good health. I'm just putting that as an example, or whatever you want. You're going to work for it. You're going to work to make your health, happy, optimally healthy by doing what you should be doing. Going for proper healthcare screenings, or going to regular visits, or eating the right foods and sleeping on time, eating or getting up on time. All this is going to help you to get good health. Now, your intentions are good. Sometimes, with all that you're doing, it may not be what you're looking for, but at least you're working in that direction. And again, the timeline that you want, you say, I want it in 6 months, may not happen in 6 months. It may happen in a couple of years later, or 3 years later, or it can happen even earlier than 6 months. So the timeline is not in your hand, but what is in your hand is your effort. You're putting in that sincerity in your effort, and you're putting it with all your 100% thinking that it's going to work out. And then put that offering up to the higher state of consciousness and say, please let it manifest. But I would like to surrender this effort to you, to the higher state of consciousness. That's the whole journey.
Wow, you just broke it down for me really easily. And now I think the book I'm writing for this podcast series, the reason why I started this podcast series was originally the book that I'm writing right now, Manifest WishCraft Manual, the one. And I feel like right here and right now, I want to say that this concept and this flow that Dr. Rini has talked about, I would definitely like to put this in the book. And then you'll see there's something familiar that you think you've seen this somewhere. and then it's just the podcast where I've
Yeah.
brought this from. Thank you so much. And sorry, I just got a little carried away with the thought you gave me. I'm so excited. Another thing I wanted to ask you that how has storytelling through your work you do, how has that affected and impacted the audience, and how were you able to, you know, uh, drive the social change?
It does in its own oblique way. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's subtle. And for instance, let me tell you, when I was one of the commissioners, the Human Rights Commission for New York City, and being the first South Asian to be appointed, there was so much I did, and so much I learned, and so much we did for the communities that they understood at the same time. And we did, and one of the projects that I was given to me, and I'm so happy I got that, was cyberbullying. Because at that time, cyberbullying was becoming such a big thing, it's now. And I did it with young kids, ages of 8 to 15. And we talked about cyberbullying, how it creates all this serious implications in kids. And parents got involved in it, the kids got involved in it, the community got involved in it. And we put out, at that time, we had put out a DVD. Now, of course, we don't have DVDs anymore. But it did bring a tangible difference. That was one of the things that I did. And not just the podcast, I just wanted to let you know. I ran for New York City elections for New York City Council. And I was the first South Asian female to run. And no mentor, no blueprint, no pathway to how do we do this. I just ran to make a difference. And I was like the young kid on the block, new kid on the block trying to make a difference. It was the new blood, and I really got a good percentage. I mean, getting 39% the first time you're running
Wow.
is not a joke, yeah. But it created a, a paradigm shift in people in our community that hey, we can get empowered, we can be civically engaged. People knew what were primaries at that time, how to go about it, and what were the issues. And even being on the community board in New York City or on the police precinct community council, all these things, not just the podcast, have, I feel, I have in my own little way enriched my neighbors and my communities, and also at-risk populations, vulnerable communities, communities of color, to make them understand so many issues that of socioeconomic impact, and can help them to navigate through all these complexities that go through when you are a new immigrant, or even if you're not a new immigrant, you don't know sometimes how to go about the processes in civil issues. So not just the podcast, but also as a community activist, community leader, I have tried to make a big difference in the lives of many people that I hopefully touched and continue to touch now through different platforms, whether it's podcasts or whether it's public speaking, whether it was my elections or whether it was New York City Commission or whether it was a community board. So all these together, I think had a cumulative effect on our community, and I'm happy that I was able to make a positive impact.
Yeah, definitely you were really successful in making a positive impact, because I see even on your website when I go, when I see all these empowering things that you've done, from media news to UN to running for an election, for everything, each and everything that you've done, you've covered the way, you've done everything that would help you make an impact, a positive impact for the people. And that's really grateful, and that's really thankful to be for, right? And
Yeah.
the last question I would like to ask you before, sorry, you wanted to say something?
And I also just wanted to add here, you said about the United Nations. I've been, we are an NGO with the United Nations, also club with the United Nations. So Science of Spirituality. And so I run that, and we teach meditation to diplomats. And World Meditation Day started in December of 2024. And we were there as an integral partner with them to make them know what we are doing. And we also bring in the young generation. We teach them Teach Peace, Reach Peace programs in schools, whether they're in India or in South America, so that our kids of this young generation, they become ambassadors of peace and they become meaningful leaders. So this is another aspect that I work on.
Wow, that is amazing. It's lovely. You see, there are so many parts to your journey that is still they're not unfolded. Yeah, but I just feel like we can talk on and on and on about your journey and how it impacts the world and how people can take stuff from your journey, the insights and the teachings. But now we will have to move towards our fast five round, and this is where I ask you five questions, and you have to answer it in either one word, one sentence, like a short idea, right? And so, how to overcome self doubt?
Faith.
Faith. For energy boosting, meditation, exercise, or music, which one's the best?
All three. But I would go exactly meditation, music, exercise.
Oh, the priority goes like that?
Yeah, but they're all three part of my life every day.
Okay. Your go to tool for staying focused.
Meditation.
Wow. Visualization, is it good or bad?
That's again the first step when you're talking of thinking, visualizing what you want. So visualization, it's just the way to keep you positive. So visualization, visualizing that you're in good health, a visualization you're a great artist, visualization you're a great actor, visualization you're a great community educator, whatever visualization. It starts here and then you work on it. First step.
Good. Well, yeah. And the last one. One health tip every teen should follow.
I think one health tip, I mean, this is just one health tip, but I think always be grateful to your creator. That helps you to be positive. And, self care, that's so very important. So, self care is one health tip. And I think inner resilience and faith and gratitude comes through going inside. So one big health tip I would say is take that inner journey to go inwards and upwards. So that is the health tip. Go back
Wow,
to meditation.
amazing.
You know why? Because silence will help you to understand. In spirituality, in material world is one plus one is two. In spirituality, one plus one is one, because you're all one. On the level of the soul, we're all one. So one plus one in spirituality is still one. It's not two.
Wow, amazing. I love it. I could listen to you on and on and on. But unfortunately, we'll have to end the podcast here. But before we let you go, we will have a couple of wrap up questions for you to give the takeaways to our audience. And I'd like to ask you, could you give us one message that people can use for them to balance success, health, and manifestation?
To get that, you need the balance, you need an inner core. And so pause and reflect and introspect. That's the only way to know.
Wow, perfect. And last one, we have talked a lot on this podcast right now. There's a lot of knowledge that people could take from this podcast. It's a really integrated one. And all the podcasts that I do are all amazing. And I just want you to let our audience know how impactful and how helpful can this knowledge be to them to achieve success.
This knowledge, they have to internalize it and process it. It's not just theoretical knowledge. Even when I was growing up, it's, oh, I know everything. I know, it's right here. That's just a part of it. That's the step one. Theoretically, you know it. Now, walk on that path. So, walking on that path may not be that easy. It can be very difficult at times. It can be challenging. But if you have that focus, that pinpoint eye focus, like, yeah, that's it. Keep an eye on the ball. You'll get it. So, the whole thing is keep that eye on the ball. Focus, focus, focus to get on that the knowledge that you've gained, and just put it on and walk that path of that knowledge that you gained.
Yes, and like just focus and don't be distracted. And all you have to do is try to attain that energy level where you can connect with the universe, and then you get the idea of that higher level, and then move towards your action, and then achieve what you want, and still be the great person you are, and spread happiness, spread positivity, spread peace, spread anything and everything positive that you can. And people over here, thank you
Uh,
so much for listening, and thank you so much for being here on my
and
podcast today.
become a better version of yourself.
Become a better version of yourself. Yes, I will remember that. I loved today's podcast. Seriously,
I'm
thank you
glad
so
you
much
did.
for being here.
Thank you, Parul. Thank you very much. It was an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know. I started so young, just like you. So for me, this is like nothing big. I've been doing it all my life.
Mhm.
It's just like I can do interviews with my eyes closed. People used to tell me that, like we did. I've done one time 10 interviews in a day. 10 interviews. I don't know if I beat the record. 10 interviews in one day. It was like one
Wow.
after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And one time, 5 shoots, all different morning, late afternoon, early afternoon, evening, like we did all at one go. It was like
Wow.
crazy. So
That's
you
amazing.
just have to, you know, delete again, start uploading, delete because you got to do a different interview. So take out, put in something different in your head, and then it was it's difficult at times, especially when you're doing film festivals. You're, you know, on your feet, and you don't know who the hell is your next person who's going to be your guest. And I remember that one time, I don't want to mention who it was, but she threw off, I think, Rishi Kapoor and Neetu Singh. They won the film festival. And he walked past. I said, oh God, I missed him. So how do I get him back? So I had to think about something. I had only 30 seconds. The guy's already gone. So I'm saying, Mr. Kapoor and Mrs. Kapoor, what a lovely couple. He turned around. I'm like, I'm Renee. Why don't you come and join me? So it was just, I charmed my way to them. That was it. And they started and they talked to me. And he forgot his bad mood because he's a very temperamental guy, anyways. But he forgot his bad mood. Neetha was great. And, that's how we would get people to come. And then the IFA film festival that happened in Orlando was the best. The one in New Jersey was okay. And then they asked me to come last year to Jaipur. And I didn't go because I get sick when I go to India, but I was one of the accredited podcasters for IFA last year for
Wow.
the silver anniversary. Yeah, yeah.
That
So
see, I
yeah,
told you that just as I said, there are many unfold parts of your journey that are still yet to be covered. But yeah,
yeah,
just
I
like
know.
you can go on and on and on about your
I know
journey.
there were so many. That's why I said, what are you gonna? Because I've run for elections, that I've been a commissioner, I've been a community educator, I've been a podcaster, I'm a meditator in UN. So I mean, what would you like? There's so many things to talk about. Sometimes I
Yeah.
forget. Oh yeah, that too. So when you said the UN, I remember the UN. So I said, oh, okay,
Yeah.
good. Remember the UN. Thank you for that, because then I said I can talk about the UN as well. But I think you will do very well in podcasts too. And I
Thank
don't say
you.
that to everybody. Seriously, you know why? Because whenever I interviewed somebody, I would know in 2 minutes how this is going to go. I just knew it. I used to know just the energy flow. And I said, okay, she knows her stuff, and I don't say that to too many people. I grudgingly give out compliments because I'm like very strict about how things have to be done. But I think you're doing a great job, and I'm serious
Thank
about it.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Now,
you.
how old are you now?
That
How old
that
are you
means a
now?
lot coming from you. Sorry?
How old are you now?
I'm 15.
You're 15, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Almost 16.
15, I started television. So very close. And five, as I said, stage 10, I was doing Nickelodeon stuff, and 50. So we're pretty much on the same path, you know. Uh, so one thing, because you're already learning about manifestation, you already have that grounding. Meditation, quiet, silence helps you, and that's what shows also in you.